Hello, Resurrection. Today is March the 27th, and it's Holy Week. I had to check the calendar to make sure that I was on the right day of the week. It's a busy week at Resurrection. It's a busy week in the whole Church Catholic, and we liturgical Christians have a lot of work to do this week. That's actually what the word liturgy means. It means the work that the people do. The church's work. And this week we have a lot of work to do. This is that week that expresses so fully for us everything that it is we believe, everything that every story we have told through the generations. This week does a lot for recounting those, as we say in the collect, those marvelous acts by which our salvation was won for us. Coming to church is one of the ways that we practice telling that story. We tell the story through the church calendar every year, and we have a lot of telling to do this week. We have Palm Sunday that we've told. We have the Last Supper to tell about. We have the crucifixion and the trial to tell about. We have Jesus washing the disciples' feet to tell about. We have to tell about his death on the cross and about his lying in the tomb and then bursting forth from the tomb on that third day. We have to retell all of that this week. And I can remember first discovering these liturgies when I joined the Episcopal Church and thinking to myself, I had no idea what I had been missing all these years. If you grow up or if you're part of a non liturgical church, you show up for Christmas and it's happy, and you show up for Easter and it's happy, but you don't get that wide breadth of everything that comes before, which makes that intense joy so much more powerful on Easter morning. Good Friday is just sad. It is a sad day of worship and so meaningful. People often sit and weep through the Good Friday service or at the end of the Maundy Thursday service. And that profound sadness does so much to bring about the joy of Easter morning. We often say in the church, and I often say from the pulpit, that you can't have Easter without Good Friday. And that when horrible things are happening in our lives, it's a really, really good reminder that Easter morning always comes after Good Friday, that the joy of the resurrection always comes after the sadness, no matter what the sadness is. And this is the week we tell that story in a very profound way. And if you miss it, you won't go to hell, but you sure will be missing out on part of what brings, what makes the joy so real for us on Sunday morning. I hope you won't miss it this year. Tomorrow at 6:30 begins what we call the Triduum, or the Great 3 Days, the Great Three Services, which in fact, when we begin the service on Maundy Thursday, we don't end it. The service does not end until the Alleluias of Easter at the Great Vigil. So the church will be in a constant church service from 6:30 on Maundy Thursday until the Easter Vigil. For 3 days, we will be in church. Now, sometimes the church will be empty, or sometimes it will be sparsely attended. There may just be one or two all through the night on Maundy Thursday, but the service continues through those whole 3 days. And I hope that you will not miss out on them this year. You don't know what you're missing if you've never been to it before. So tonight is Wednesday night, and it's not technically part of our Holy Week services yet, but we will begin with Stations of the Cross tonight at 5:30. At 6 o'clock, we'll have our regular family supper, and at 6:30, we'll have Bible study and youth group and kids groups, and all of our normal Wednesday night programming. That's tonight. And then tomorrow on Maundy Thursday, we will join with the whole church at 6:30. The service begins much like a Sunday morning does, but very soon takes a very different turn. And we will reenact the foot washing. Now, I know some people are squeamish about that. You don't have to come forward and have your feet washed. Don't be squeamish about that. You can sit comfortably in your seat. And in fact, if every single person came up for the foot washing, I would have to have therapy on my back and my neck before I got out of the floor. So it's okay if not everybody comes forward. But I will sit down, I will kneel down there, and I will wash every pair of feet that comes forward. Why do we do that? We do that because it represents service. It represents almost servitude. And it's important for the ordained clergy to remember that they are servants of the people of God. A lot of times priests can fall into that habit of being served. You know, I have an altar guild that sets up for me, a flower guild that makes everything beautiful. I have committees and vestries that make all the trains run on time. I really do kind of live in assisted living here. And it's very important that we're all reminded that the priest is here as a servant of Jesus and as a servant of you. And so I wash the feet of the people I'm here to serve. It's why lay people don't wash feet. It's not because foot washing is a privilege. It's because having your feet washed is a privilege. And it is my honor and privilege to do that for you, for anyone who desires it. I remember one year, Clayton Faultness, he was very little at the time, and he was just kind of figuring all of this out. And he came forward for the foot washing, and he put his little feet in that bowl, and I washed his feet, and he looked at me and said, "Why are you doing that?" And I said, "Clayton, this is how your priest tells you that he loves you, and I love you." And Clayton looked at me and said, "I love you too." I'll never forget it. And I think he did. And I hope he remembers that I love him too. Now, after the foot washing and after we take communion, we will consecrate a whole lot of bread and wine on Thursday because we cannot celebrate the Eucharist on Good Friday and on Holy Thursday as we remember Christ upon the cross and Christ lying in the tomb, awaiting the day of resurrection. So when we take communion on Good Friday, we will use whatever is left over from Thursday, and we'll use all of that up, and we will leave the church as empty as it can be after Good Friday and into Saturday. At the end of the Maundy Thursday service, when we strip the altar down and we wash the altar in the low lights, we wash the altar in preparation for burial. We will process that bread and wine into the garden. The garden has been decorated beautifully this year by the ladies of the Flower Guild, and we will watch with the elements, with the Holy Communion that represent the presence of Christ among us, the very real presence of Christ among us. And we will wait and watch all night long in the garden with Jesus. Remember, he said, "Can you not watch with me just 1 hour?" So we'll take shifts all night long and we'll watch with Christ in the garden until we join again at 3 o'clock on Good Friday for the continuation of that service, where we will take communion again and we will finish all of the communion. We will pray for the forgiveness of our sins. It's when we sing and process the wooden cross in and make devotions and adoration about and over the sacrifice that Jesus made for us on that cross. And then we'll join, that's at 3 o'clock. And then the very next day for the Easter Vigil, when it gets nice and dark at 8 o'clock p.m., for those of us who just cannot wait any longer for the Alleluias of Easter, we will come together for the great Easter Vigil. The great Easter Vigil is easily the most high church thing we do all year long. And if you love the high church stuff, you'll want to see it. With all the old chants are sung, and the renewal of baptismal vows and the sprinkling with water and the bells ringing and the candles being lit and the lights coming up and the music breaking forth. And then, of course, on Easter morning, our two regular services, 8 a.m. and 10:30. I think we're going to do it upright this year. You're going to want to be here for it, and I want you here, and Christ wants you here, and I know that you want to be here with your church family and with Christ as we do this hard work. So fasten your seatbelts. Coming to all of that church does make you a little bit tired, but the joy that you experience on Easter morning, even with the tiredness, just makes it so much better. So I'm looking forward to seeing you. We'll be in the office all week this week. If you need anything, just call. We will take a break next week. The office will be closed on Monday and Tuesday, and we will not have Wednesday night programming next week. We never do the week after Easter, and then everything will go back as it was. So I will see you tonight for stations and dinner and for Bible study, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in church all week long. I love it. There's no place else I'd rather be, and I'll see you there. I love you.